You wake up, but something feels wrong. The alarm screams. Your hand slams the snooze button. Time slips away. You grab your phone. The world invades your mind before you've even had a chance to control your own thoughts. Notifications, emails, bad news, someone else's emergency, someone else's life. Before you've even taken your first conscious breath, you've surrendered. You are no longer driving the day. You are reacting. You are following. You are already behind, and this is where most people lose. Not because they aren't smart, not because they aren't driven, but because they start their day by giving their energy to everything but themselves. They let the outside world dictate their pace. They let urgency crush intention. They move through the day chasing but never leading. They run on autopilot, responding to one thing after another, and at the end of the day, they wonder why they feel drained, unfulfilled, and lost. The real problem didn't start in the afternoon when the to-do list got too long. It didn't start when the boss got angry. It didn't start when things spiraled out of control. It started in the first 5 minutes of the day, when you let the world steal your attention before you even earned your own focus. There's a hidden power in the morning that most people never tap into. They move so fast, they never stop to ask, what is the cost of starting without intention? The morning is not just the beginning of the day. It is the moment you program your mind. It's the window when your brain is most open, most fragile, most ready to receive instructions. It's where your thoughts are pure. It's where you either plant seeds of chaos or seeds of control. And yet, so many people throw this time away like it's nothing. They think the morning is just about waking up, brushing teeth, grabbing coffee, and rushing out the door. But the morning is not a formality. It's not a routine task. It is the battlefield where your mind is either won or lost. How you begin sets the tone for everything that follows. When you wake up and immediately consume the noise of the world, you are telling your brain, other people's priorities matter more than mine. When you start the day in reaction, you are building a mind that chases, that follows, that doubts. You are training yourself to be a victim of time instead of a leader of time. And when this becomes your daily habit, life begins to feel heavy. You start to feel like you have no control, like you are always behind, always rushing, always trying to catch up. But you can't catch up to a life you never designed. The truth is, the first few minutes of the morning are the most critical minutes of your entire day. Your subconscious is wide open. Your mind is listening carefully. Your body is adjusting. Your emotions are vulnerable. This is where you either take control or lose it completely. Yet most people hand this time away to their phones, to distractions, to other people's demands. They allow themselves to drift, and when you drift through your morning, you drift through your life, because the morning is not just a part of the day. It is the seed that grows into the mindset you carry, the decisions you make, and the results you create. You see, the morning carries a momentum. When you win early, you start stacking victories. When you lose early, you start stacking failures. If your first choice is a lazy one, your second choice is easier to abandon. But if your first choice is powerful, intentional, disciplined, you begin to build strength from the start, and that strength compounds throughout the day. The hardest part of the day is not the meeting. It's not the workout. It's not the challenge. The hardest part of the day is the very first choice. Will you own this day, or will this day own you? Will you step forward with purpose, or will you stumble forward out of habit? The decision is always yours, but the window to make it is small. There's a reason the most successful people in the world guard their mornings like a treasure. They know it's sacred time. They know it's where focus is born, where clarity is built. They don't leave their mornings to chance, because they understand that momentum is their greatest ally. Success is not found in random bursts of productivity. It's built in the rhythm of disciplined mornings. The people who seem to effortlessly navigate life are not lucky. They are not gifted with more time. They are simply the ones who understand the weight of their morning and refuse to waste it. They protect it. They control it. They design it. And that design becomes their edge. But what happens when you don't protect your morning? You lose yourself. You begin to live in reaction. You begin to absorb the anxiety of the world. You begin to drift into routines you never chose. You begin to live for others and forget to live for yourself. and eventually you feel like you're just surviving days instead of creating them. Life becomes a loop. Wake up, react, survive, repeat, and in that loop your dreams quietly die. Not because you weren't capable, but because you didn't start the day by owning your focus, your energy, your mind. But imagine this: waking up and instead of grabbing your phone, you grab your breath. You step into your own silence. You choose your first thought. You lead your first action. You claim your first victory. That one victory in the morning sends a message to your entire mind and body. I am in control. I lead this life. And when you start stacking those small, private victories, they start to grow. The world can still throw challenges your way, but you are no longer fragile. You are no longer scattered. You are anchored, you are steady, because you've already won where it matters. The first battle, the first moment, the morning, and that, quietly but powerfully, changes everything. Most people approach morning routines with the best intentions, but somewhere along the way, those routines collapse. They start with excitement, full of motivation, ready to change their lives, but that excitement fades quickly. The alarm becomes harder to obey, the steps feel heavier, the routine begins to slip away. And soon it is abandoned entirely. Then comes the guilt, the self-blame, the belief that maybe they are not disciplined enough, maybe they are not consistent enough, maybe they are just not cut out for this. They don't realize that their failure was never a personal flaw. It was a design flaw. It wasn't that they couldn't stick to a routine. It was that the routine they tried to build was never designed for them in the first place. The most common mistake people make when creating a morning routine is copying someone else's formula without thinking about their own life, their own energy, their own purpose. They watch successful people online talking about waking up at 4 a.m., taking ice baths, running 10 kilometers, reading a book, journaling, meditating, and fitting it all in before the sun rises. Inspired, they try to follow the same exact plan, thinking that this is the key to success. But they quickly discover that it doesn't fit them. Maybe their body is not ready for intense exercise that early. Maybe their life responsibilities don't allow them to wake up that early. Maybe they simply don't feel connected to those tasks. They try to force a borrowed routine into a life that has a completely different rhythm. And when that forced routine collapses, they blame themselves. But it was never really their routine. It was a costume they tried to wear, but it didn't fit their shape. Another reason morning routines fail is because people build them like checklists, not like rituals. They stack so many activities into the morning that it becomes a race against the clock. Wake up, meditate. Work out, read, journal, visualize, stretch, plan, hydrate. The list grows so long that the routine itself becomes overwhelming. Instead of feeling grounded and energized, people feel pressured and rushed. They start associating their morning with stress instead of peace. They move from one task to the next like they are competing in a morning marathon. There is no stillness, no presence, no real connection to what they are doing. The routine becomes mechanical, robotic, and lifeless, and soon they lose interest. They lose motivation. They abandon the entire routine because it feels like just another obligation, just another job, just another thing that drains them. Some people also make the mistake of believing that morning routines need to be extreme to be effective. They think that if they don't wake up at an unreasonably early hour, if they don't push themselves to the limit, if they don't go through a highly structured hour-long process, then the routine is worthless. But what they don't realize is that consistency beats intensity. A small routine that you actually enjoy, that you can stick to every day, is far more powerful than a massive, exhausting routine that you quit after a week. The quiet, steady routines are the ones that shape lives. The rushed, overcomplicated ones are the ones that break people. Sometimes people also fail because they attach punishment to their routines. They design mornings that feel heavy, that feel like chores. They tell themselves they must suffer through cold showers they hate. They must endure workouts they despise. They must push through meditation sessions that feel like battles against their own mind. They think that the harder the routine is, the more valuable it must be. But when the routine feels like punishment, the mind resists, the body resists, and every morning becomes a negotiation. You wake up and instantly feel the weight of everything you have to do. And when your routine feels like something you must survive instead of something you look forward to, it dies quickly. The truth is, a morning routine should not be punishment. It should be something that feels like a gift you are giving yourself, not a punishment you are forcing yourself through. People also forget to adjust their routines when life changes. They build a routine when they are in a calm season of life. But when things become busy, stressful, or unpredictable, they try to force the same routine. They don't adapt it to their new reality. They become rigid, thinking that if they can't follow their original routine perfectly, they have failed. But routines need to evolve with life. A morning routine that worked last year may not fit this year. A routine that worked when you were single may not work when you have a family. A routine that worked when you had free mornings may not work when your schedule changes. Flexibility is survival. The people who keep their routines alive are not the ones who follow the same plan forever. They are the ones who know how to adjust, how to simplify, how to protect the essence of their mornings even when life pulls them in different directions. Another trap is focusing too much on what the morning looks like instead of what it feels like. People chase the image of the perfect morning. They want it to look like the routines they see in motivational videos. But the perfect looking morning can still leave you feeling empty if you are disconnected from it. The goal is not to perform a beautiful routine. The goal is to build a morning that actually serves you, that strengthens you, that prepares you to lead your day with clarity and power. When people chase the aesthetic of the routine instead of the feeling of alignment, they build routines that look impressive but quickly collapse because they are hollow inside. The deeper reason why most routines fail is that people don't know why they are doing them. They don't build emotional connection to their morning. They build a list of tasks but not a sense of purpose. And when there's no emotional connection, motivation fades, discipline weakens, and routines dissolve. But when you truly understand why you are doing what you are doing in the morning, when you feel that emotional pull, when your routine connects to your bigger vision, it becomes something you protect, not something you abandon. It becomes part of who you are, not just something you do. When your morning has purpose, it has power. When your morning has power, it lasts. The secret to building a morning routine that actually works is not found in complexity or in following someone else's blueprint. It is found in simplicity, in personal connection, and in creating something that genuinely excites you to get out of bed. Most people build routines that look good on paper but feel heavy in real life. They chase the routines they see in books, on social media, or in videos without stopping to ask themselves if those routines truly resonate with their own energy, their own goals, and their own lifestyle. The most powerful morning routine is not the one that looks impressive. It's the one that pulls you toward it, the one that you can't wait to return to, the one that feels like a sacred time just for you. A morning routine should never feel like a punishment. It should feel like a homecoming, a return to yourself, a moment where you connect deeply with who you are and who you are becoming. When you build a routine that excites you, it stops feeling like something you have to do and starts feeling like something you get to do. This shift changes everything. It removes the internal resistance. It removes the constant battle between what you think you should do and what you actually want to do. When your routine feels like a gift, you don't need to drag yourself out of bed. You are naturally pulled toward it. The mistake people often make is that they try to start with too much. They believe they need to wake up and immediately conquer a long list of activities to be productive. They believe more steps equal more success. But the truth is that starting small builds real momentum. When you overwhelm yourself with too many things, you set yourself up to fail. When you start with something simple, something so easy you can't say no, you start to win. Those small wins stack up. They create a rhythm. They become part of you. It's about building a routine that connects to your spirit, your body, and your mind. One thing for your spirit, one thing for your body, one thing for your mind. Start with just those 3 anchors and build from there. For your spirit, choose something that gives you peace, that connects you to something greater than yourself. It might be sitting in silence, it might be prayer, it might be reading something uplifting, or it might simply be stepping outside and feeling the morning air. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to nourish your spirit, to start your day in alignment with yourself, to create space before the world fills your mind with noise. Then add one thing that strengthens your body. This does not mean you need to start with an intense workout unless that truly excites you. It can be as simple as stretching, walking, breathing deeply, or moving your body gently. The point is to wake up your body, to send it a message that you are alive, that you are here, that you are taking care of it. When you move your body, even in a small way, you start to build energy instead of waiting for energy to magically appear. Then, add one thing that focuses your mind. This could be writing down your priorities for the day. It could be journaling your thoughts. It could be visualizing your goals. Or it could simply be reviewing what matters most to you. The mind, when left unchecked in the morning, will start to drift toward worry, toward distraction, toward other people's problems. But when you start your morning by focusing your mind, you take back control. You choose what matters. You decide where your attention will go. This is how you lead your day instead of being led by it. When you design your routine this way, with just 3 core elements that feel good to you, you begin to create something that you can stick to, something that becomes a rhythm, something that becomes part of your identity. Over time, you may choose to add more. You may decide to wake up earlier. You may build longer workouts. You may expand your reading time. But you will be building from a place of stability, not from a place of pressure. You will be adding because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. The beauty of starting small is that it removes the weight of perfection. You don't need to execute the routine perfectly every day. You just need to show up. You need to keep the rhythm alive. Some days will be longer, some days will be shorter, but as long as you show up for yourself in some small way, you will be building consistency. Consistency is not about doing everything exactly the same every day. Consistency is about not quitting. It's about returning to the process, even on the hard days, even on the messy days, even when life feels overwhelming. Another key is to design your routine with flexibility. Life will not always allow you the perfect conditions. Some mornings you will have more time, some mornings you will have less. The power is in being able to adapt without abandoning the routine entirely. If you usually spend 20 minutes reading but only have 5 minutes today, still show up. If you usually take a walk but the weather is bad, stretch indoors. If your schedule is tight, shorten the steps but don't skip them completely. The smallest version of your routine still counts. It still reinforces your identity. It still keeps the habit alive. The most important thing is to make your morning feel like it belongs to you. It should not feel like it was borrowed from someone else's life. It should not feel like it was forced upon you. It should feel like it was created with care, with intention, with love for your own growth. When your morning belongs to you, you will protect it. You will fight for it. You will return to it not because you have to, but because you want to. You will start to wake up with curiosity instead of dread. You will begin to see the morning not as a time to survive, but as a time to lead, to grow, to create. When you build a routine you can't wait to wake up to, you change the story you tell yourself. You no longer say, "I'm not a morning person." You start to say, "This is my time. This is where I become who I am meant to be." And that story, repeated day after day, becomes your truth. Mastering your morning is not about chasing perfection. It is about building quiet strength. It is about learning to start your day with intention, with clarity, and with ownership. When you understand how much power is hidden in the first moments of your day, you stop treating them casually. You begin to see that those quiet minutes before the world fully wakes up are your greatest opportunity to build yourself. It is the foundation that holds the rest of the day together. When you start strong, you move through your day with a different energy. You are not easily shaken. You are not quickly overwhelmed. You become centered, focused, and steady because you already made the choice to lead the day. But mastery does not happen overnight. It is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment to showing up even when you do not feel like it. Some mornings you will wake up tired. Some mornings you will not want to leave the comfort of your bed. Some mornings your mind will beg for the easier path. But mastery is built in these moments, not when everything feels perfect, but when you choose discipline over comfort. It is in the quiet victories, the small decisions to rise when you could have stayed down, that you begin to build the muscle of consistency, and that consistency becomes your quiet power. When you begin to master your morning, something shifts inside you. You stop chasing motivation. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You realize that mastery is not about being perfect every day, but about refusing to quit. It is about becoming the type of person who follows through on what they said they would do. Even on the days when life feels heavy, even on the days when your mind feels scattered, you return to your routine because it is part of who you are now. It is no longer something you try to do. It is something you embody. It is woven into your identity. As you master your morning, you begin to notice that life responds differently to you. You are no longer tossed around by every distraction, every problem, every unexpected demand. You begin to move with purpose. You begin to lead yourself first, and because of that, you can lead your day with more power. You are not rushing from task to task in a panic. You are not easily discouraged by obstacles. You face challenges with a calm mind because you already spent time in the morning strengthening yourself. That time you gave yourself is now your armor. Mastery also teaches you patience. You stop looking for quick results. You begin to trust the process. You understand that the results are not always visible right away. Some days you will not feel an immediate shift. Some days the routine will feel repetitive. But you continue because you know the seeds you plant in the morning take time to grow. You stop needing instant rewards because you are now playing a longer game. You know that mastery is built slowly, quietly, in the moments when no one is watching. And you begin to feel proud of yourself not for perfect outcomes, but for your daily effort. When you master your morning, you also begin to create distance from the noise of the world. You stop starting your day by reacting to other people's lives. You stop letting your phone set the tone of your mind. You begin to guard your attention like something precious. You protect your mind from the flood of distraction because you know your energy is limited and you are no longer willing to waste it. You choose where your focus goes. You choose what deserves your energy. And when you start the day on your own terms, the rest of the world no longer pulls you in every direction. This mastery of your morning ripples into every part of your life. Your relationships improve because you bring a calmer, more present version of yourself to them. Your work improves because you lead it with clarity instead of confusion. Your confidence grows because you prove to yourself, day after day, that you can be trusted to follow through. You become someone you can rely on, and this quiet self-trust is one of the most powerful things you can build. It makes you steady when life is chaotic. It makes you strong when things get hard. It makes you relentless when most people would give up. But even as you build this mastery, you must stay humble. You must remember that the goal is not to have the most perfect routine, but to continue showing up with honesty and commitment. Some mornings will be smooth. Some mornings will be messy. What matters is that you return. What matters is that you keep coming back to yourself. Mastery is not rigid. Mastery is not a prison of strict rules. Mastery is flexible. Mastery is adaptable. It allows for life's changes. It bends without breaking. It evolves as you evolve. The morning is your training ground. It is where you learn to lead yourself before you lead your work, your relationships, your goals. It is the quiet preparation that makes you resilient throughout the rest of the day. When you begin your day with focus, with presence, with deliberate action, you are no longer just surviving your schedule. You are commanding your life. You are shaping your own momentum. You are building an inner strength that carries you forward even when the day brings surprises, challenges, and resistance. Mastering your morning is not about what time you wake up. It is about how you show up when you do. It is about owning those first moments instead of surrendering them. It is about claiming your time, your energy, your mindset before the world can take it from you. This is where your power lives. This is where your discipline is born. This is where you become unstoppable, not because you are perfect, but because you refuse to quit. When you build this kind of mastery, you no longer depend on motivation. You no longer depend on perfect conditions. You simply depend on your choice, the choice you make every morning to lead your life instead of follow it. And that choice, repeated over time, becomes who you are.